If this offering stirs something in you, like the video and subscribe to receive the next token.
A hush falls inside the small chapel as the day's last light filters through stained glass. Vessel kneels in the front pew, with her head resting on his shoulder. The evening sun paints them in honey gold warmth. For a moment she is herself, eyes bright, a gentle smile, recognizing the man beside her. In daylight, she seems safe, almost protected, as if unseen angels still linger by her side in these final moments of dusk, holding her fragile memories intact. Vessel's heart clenches with hope and dread. He brushes a strand of hair from her face. "It's a beautiful sunset," she whispers softly. Her voice is calm, familiar, the voice of the woman he loves, the woman he's desperately afraid of losing. Vessel nods and forces a smile, cherishing every second of lucidity. Outside, the sun kisses the horizon. Inside the chapel, pillars of light begin to thin and fade. He knows that when the daylight dies, her clarity will die with it. With trembling fingers, Vessel interlocks his hand with hers. In a silent prayer, he pleads with any power listening. Let her stay, just a little longer. His eyes flicker to the altar's crucifix bathed in orange glow, then to the painted angels in the window above. They seem to watch over her kindly now. But dusk is creeping in. The colors in the glass grow dim. The angels' faces blur. Night is coming, and with it, the hollow void he has come to fear. Shadows lengthen through the chapel aisles. As the final sliver of sun slips away, her grip on the present begins to slip too. Vessel feels a faint tremor run through her fingers. She blinks in confusion, the light in her eyes flickering. Where are we?" she mutters, voice frail and distant. A chill skates down Vessel's spine. He has heard that tone before, disoriented, empty. The twilight has stolen the recognition from her gaze. "We're here, love. I'm right here," he murmurs, tightening his hold as if sheer will could tether her mind to reality. She pulls back slightly, peering at him with brows knit in worry. The kindness of moments ago is replaced by uncertainty. In the poor light, her eyes have gone glassy and dark, as though the spark of her soul is retreating beyond reach. Vessel's throat burns. It's happening again. The sun downing. The night has begun its cruel work. She looks around the dim chapel at the looming shadows in the corners. It's so dark. "I'm scared," she admits in a trembling whisper. Vessel gently cups her cheek, his thumb brushing a tear that has formed. "I know, but I'm with you. I won't leave you." His voice breaks on the last words. He can see fear clouding her face, a fear born of the growing emptiness inside her. The lively woman from minutes before is slipping away like sand between his fingers. As she struggles to remember, Vessel can almost see an invisible tide pulling her out, further from the shore of consciousness. The night is claiming her. In despair, he wraps his arms around her, holding her tight against his chest. They cling to each other in the gathering darkness like lovers clinging for a final dance. Her body is warm in his arms, but she doesn't say his name. Perhaps she no longer recalls it. He presses his eyes shut against the sting of tears. If this is the last time, he thinks, let her know comfort. Let her not be afraid. "Please," he whispers into her hair, voice shaking with desperation. "Just grant us this night. Let her stay with me through this one night." It is unclear if he begs God or fate or whatever force is listening in the black silence. perhaps all of them at once. She doesn't respond except to nestle closer, drawn by his familiar warmth, even if her mind can no longer place him. Outside, the first stars emerge, indifferent and cold. Inside, the darkness deepens, and Vessel feels a crushing helplessness. Through blurred eyes, he notices the stained glass window, now washed colorless by night. The angels depicted there are now swallowed by shadow, their guardianship gone with the sun. A heavy weight of realization settles over him. The night does not belong to God or his angels. No divine grace lights the way here. This darkness answers to something else, something that has stolen her away piece by piece. He holds her and rocks gently as her tremors subside into a quiet, vacant stillness. In his arms, she has gone quiet and distant, gazing blankly past the altar into nothingness. The person she was an hour ago has all but vanished with the day. Vessel's tears finally spill over. "You'll never truly be mine again, will you?" He breathes raggedly, barely audible. The only answer is the faint echo of his voice in the empty chapel. He realizes that she cannot come back to him, not by prayer or pleading, not tonight, and perhaps not ever. The thought hollows out his chest, yet he keeps his arms around her, refusing to let go, as if sheer love alone might anchor her shattered mind until morning. As midnight approaches, an oppressive quiet engulfs the chapel. She has fallen asleep or into some merciful unconsciousness in Vessel's embrace, her face buried against his shoulder. Vessel remains wide awake, eyes adjusting to the gloom. The only light now is the faint silver of the moon through the high windows. Every sculpture and pew is draped in darkness. The air feels heavier, colder, as though the night itself has drawn closer, watching. A faint scrape breaks the silence. Vessel's breath catches. It sounded like a footstep, somewhere in the shadows behind the altar. He holds her protectively and peers over the wooden pew. "Hello?" he calls softly, his voice echoing. Only silence answers. Yet the darkness in the far corner seems to twist and thicken. His pulse quickens. He knows he ought to be alone here, but something else is here with them now. Slowly, trying not to disturb the sleeping woman, Vessel lays her gently on the pew. His joints ache as he rises, heart pounding against his ribs. In the far corner, beneath the loft where the pipe organ looms, the shadows ripple. For a moment, Vessel thinks his eyes are tricking him. Then a shape detaches from the darkness, a figure standing just beyond the moonlight's reach. "Who's there?" Vessel demands, throat dry. He steps forward on unsteady legs. At first, he sees only a vague silhouette. It is tall and indistinct, like a man draped in a tattered cloak. Where a face should be, there is only darkness. Yet Vessel feels eyes upon him, ancient and unblinking. The intruder's presence is at once terrifying and strangely familiar, as if the darkness itself had worn a form that he somehow recognizes in his soul. A low voice emanates from the figure, echoing in the hollow chapel. "Your prayers will not be answered tonight." The voice is gentle, but carries an undercurrent of finality. It rolls through the air like distant thunder, stirring the dust motes. Vessel's blood runs cold at the words. He had been praying moments ago, praying for a miracle that now feels impossible. He swallows hard, stepping protectively in front of the pew where she lies. "Who are you?" He calls into the dark, trying to sound braver than he feels. His only answer is the faint creak of old wood as the figure steps closer, just into a shaft of moonlight. Vessel's breath catches in his throat. The being's form becomes clearer, A robe of deep black folds around a tall, gaunt shape. Its hands, pale and long-fingered, emerge from the sleeves, relaxed at its sides. On its head it wears a featureless mask, smooth, colorless, neither smiling nor frowning. 2 pinpoints of dim light smolder where eyes should be behind the mask, fixed on Vessel. He knows this presence, he realizes with a start, not by name, but by feeling. He has sensed it before in countless sleepless nights and fearful dawns, an unseen watcher in the dark when her episodes began. The realization sends a jolt through him. This is the entity that claims the night. This is what remains when God's light has gone. The figure tilts its head slightly. "Some have called me a god," it says, voice echoing softly through the pews. "Others, a curse. You," it almost sighs, "may call me sleep." The last word hangs in the air, and Vessel feels everything inside him turn to ice. Sleep. The name resonates in his memory, in half-remembered nightmares and whispered prayers. Sleep, the ancient force that his cult-like faith whispers about, the deity of the darkness, the one he had feared and in desperate moments hoped for. Vessel's knees threaten to buckle. Here, manifest before him, is the being he suspected, the one that he had sensed stealing her mind each night. His voice trembles. Why? Why her? She's done nothing. She doesn't deserve this. There is anguish and accusation in his words. Vessel's hands ball into fists at his sides, though terror keeps him rooted in place. Sleep drifts a few steps nearer. Though its feet do not appear to move under the robe, it glides across the stone floor without a sound. Vessel can now see faint etchings on the mask, ancient symbols carved along its surface like faded scars. The being's presence presses against him like a cold wind. It is not about deserving, Sleep replies calmly. Night falls on every living thing. Minds falter and souls waver. This is simply the way of things. The hooded head inclines toward the sleeping woman on the pew. When the sun sets, she is mine. No god of day can reach her here. Vessel chokes back a sob of rage and sorrow. He steps forward as if to shield her with his own body. You took her from me, he growls, tears on his cheeks catching the meager light. You take her every night. His voice cracks. Give her back. Please. The plea escapes him broken, a final surrender of pride. Sleep regards him in silence for a long moment. In the quiet, the only sound is the ragged hitch of Vessel's breath. At last, Sleep speaks, almost pitying. I cannot return what has already slipped beyond the veil of night. Not even I can rewrite mortality. The figure's mask seems to study Vessel curiously. But you, it whispers, you would do anything to save her, wouldn't you? Vessel feels something between fury and hope flare within him. He nods without hesitation. Anything. I'll do anything. Take me instead. Take whatever you want. Just don't let her fade away like this. Don't let tonight be the end of her. His voice is fervent, echoing in the dark arches of the chapel. He means every word with all his shattered heart. A soft sound issues from Sleep, perhaps the ghost of a chuckle. Anything is a dangerous promise, Vessel. The way it says his name feels intimate, like Sleep has known him forever. You offer your very soul so readily. Do you understand the price of what you ask? Sleep's tone is not cruel, but heavy with consequence. The dim lights in its eyes burn a little brighter, pouring into Vessel as if searching his heart. Vessel straightens, wiping his tears. In that moment, he is filled with a terrible resolve. He glances back at the woman sleeping in oblivion on the pew. remembering who she used to be, the warmth of her laughter, the way she once spoke his name with love. Those memories are all he has now, and he will burn himself to keep them alive if he must. Turning back to the entity, he meets those cold, ancient eyes. "I do," he answers quietly. "If there is any chance, any hope at all to keep her with me, or to save what's left of her, I'll pay it. I'll give you whatever it takes." Silence falls again. For a heartbeat, even the wind outside dies, as if the whole night holds its breath. Sleep's shrouded form stands utterly still before Vessel, unreadable behind the mask. Then, with slow grace, Sleep inclines its head, an acknowledgement, or perhaps an acceptance. "You cannot halt the night," Sleep murmurs, "but perhaps there are truths you have yet to learn, depths in darkness yet to plumb." It lifts one of its long pale hands and extends it toward Vessel, palm up. Though the being remains a pace away, Vessel feels as if that hand nearly touches his chest, right above his thundering heart. "If you truly mean to offer everything, then prove it. Show me the devotion that lies in your heart." Vessel looks at the outstretched hand, then into the empty face of the mask. In that abyssal gaze, he senses a flicker of something, curiosity or opportunity. The air crackles with unseen power. This is the precipice of a choice that cannot be undone. He knows, as surely as he knows the sun will rise, that stepping onto this path will change him forever. Yet for her, for the woman sleeping helplessly behind him, he will step forward. Taking a shuddering breath, Vessel sinks down to one knee on the cold stone floor. He bows his head, closing his eyes. This posture is instinctive, like a subject kneeling before a dark king, or a devotee before an altar. His voice is steady now, stripped of fear, forged in pain. "I vow to you, Sleep. I am yours. Take me, and whatever you will of me. Just spare her, or at least let her memory not die in vain." The moment the words leave his lips, the temperature in the chapel seems to plummet. A rush of darkness sweeps around Vessel's kneeling form, stirring his hair. He feels something like cold fingers brush across his shoulders, a weight, not physical but spiritual, coiling around him. Sleep's voice comes from everywhere and nowhere at once, resonant and deep. "So be it." Vessel opens his eyes and lifts his head. The figure of Sleep looms over him, hand still extended. Though terrified, Vessel slowly raises his own hand and lays it in the pale, ghostly palm. An icy shock travels through his arm at the contact. It feels like plunging into frigid water and burning at the same time. He gasps, but does not pull away. Through that touch, images flood Vessel's mind in an instant. A swirl of distant stars, ancient nights, and lifetimes of loneliness. He senses the vastness of Sleep's being, stretching eons, and he feels, for one brief moment, a strand of connection, Sleep binding to him, and he to Sleep, a mark unseen, a pact, sealed in silence. Vessel bows his head again, trembling not from fear now, but from the overwhelming force of the entity accepting his devotion. When he dares to look up once more, the dark figure has withdrawn its hand. "You have given yourself freely," Sleep intones. "In time, you will come to understand what that means." The masked visage turns slightly toward the woman, who still lies unmoving in the pew, breathing shallowly. "Your love for her is a powerful thing," Sleep says quietly. "Powerful, but powerless against what is coming. Remember that." A single tear slips down Vessel's face. He doesn't know if that was a warning or a mercy. Before he can respond or beg for clarification, the shadows in the corner of the chapel begin to draw back toward the figure, swirling like smoke around sleep's form. The dim glow of its eyes intensifies for a heartbeat as the darkness wraps around it, then flickers. Vessel blinks, and the being is simply gone. Only the darkness remains, draped over silent pews and silent souls. For a long moment, Vessel stays kneeling, staring at the emptiness where sleep stood. His body feels drained, heavy with exhaustion and grim purpose. At last, a faint stirring sound breaks the stillness. She shifts in her sleep, a soft sigh escaping her lips. Vessel is pulled from his trance. He rises unsteadily and returns to her side, gently lifting her into his arms once more. She curls instinctively against him, eyes shut, lost in dreams beyond his reach. Above them, through the high window, the night sky stretches endless and indifferent. The moon's glow falls in pale beams, illuminating the altar where no miracle came. Vessel holds her close and closes his eyes, pressing a tender kiss to her forehead. He has made his choice. If the true God of this night demands devotion, then devoted he shall be. He will do what he must when the darkness calls again. In the stillness, Vessel sits with her until the earliest hint of dawn seeps into the sky, a gray light creeping back through the stained glass. Her eyes remain shut, but her breathing is peaceful against him. Whether she will know him come morning is uncertain, but for now, at least she is here in his arms. As the first weak rays of sun break through, the oppressive weight in the chapel seems to lift. The night finally releases its hold, but Vessel knows this reprieve is temporary. The night will come again, as it always does, and he has promised himself to the one who rules it. A shiver of both dread and resolve runs through him at that thought. Gently, he stands, cradling her, and steps toward the chapel door, where daylight beckons. He pauses, looking back over his shoulder into the receding darkness of the chapel's interior. For an instant, he thinks he sees two faint pinpoints of light in the far shadows, watching. But it might just be his weary eyes and the last reflection of the moon. Either way, he offers a silent final whisper into the darkened chapel, meant for whatever listens in such places. The night does not belong to God. The words are bitter on his tongue, but he speaks them with acceptance. Then Vessel carries her out into the dawn, leaving behind the silence, the shadows, and the understanding that somewhere in that darkness, sleep is waiting.